everyone, it's Matt with Flyin Miata. Welcome back to another Facebook Live episode, and today we're going to be doing a couple dyno runs on the V8 Exocet that I just got done with. It's the standard E-Rod and GM, obviously, LS3 platform. Today, Jeremy's going to be our tuner, and he is also our general manager. He'll be walking us through the process. So Jeremy, what do you have for us?
Hey everybody. So I wanted to give you kind of a high level overview of how we would go through setting up one of these GM ECUs, and whether it's in an Exocet or a bodied car, it doesn't matter. It's going to be the same basic principle. This one's just a lot cooler because it's in a super awesome Exocet. So let's go ahead and go in and take a first look at the car. So as you can see, we've got the car strapped down to our two-wheel dyno here. This particular dyno uses an eddy brake to help control the current so that we can load things up and do the pulls. So how we have this set up is on the GM products, we use the HP Tuners interface in order to connect with the GM PCM, read all the data, analyze the data. We can do the dyno runs, we can make adjustments to the calibration to get it set up for this exact car, put it back in, do the run, rinse and repeat. And basically the process is really just to optimize this package. You know, a lot of people try to compare dyno numbers over the internet, and that's great, but really as a tool, what this thing's job is to take this and make it the best that it can be with what it has. And so it's super important that the operator and the equipment's all internally consistent so that you can perform all those steps. So Travis, why don't you go ahead and come over here? And generally speaking with the GM stuff, the factory engineers got paid a whole lot of money to get this right. And so there's just little things that we want to do here to basically sculpt the airflow for our specific model. For example, how we have our intake set up, how our headers and our exhaust is set up. It's just making little changes to get these details just right so that the GM PCM can do its job and run this engine correctly. And the number one way that we're doing that is by modeling the MAF transfer function, which is basically using the MAF card here. That tells the PCM what the airflow model, or what the incoming airflow is. There's a model inside the computer that calculates all that, and that's how it determines your fueling, your timing, your idle control, hosts of other things by simply knowing what the incoming airflow is. So it's critical that the modeling of this sensor is correct. And that's the majority of what we would do here to get any of these GM setups running. After that's done, we can go in and we can optimize the timing curve a little bit just to see if we can get a little bit more here, a little bit more there. And sometimes we can, but the bulk of the job is modeling that airflow function. So if you want to come over here, Travis. We've set up the HP Tuners interface here, and I can use this to run data logs, do hysteresis, look at all the various items. And then over here we have the dyno set up. We can do dyno runs. I can monitor the power output. I can monitor the air fuel ratios. We can put all this together to dial in what this PCM is doing. And once it's dialed in, it's good to go. I mean, this is factory GM stuff. It's designed, it's a driveline that was designed for a 4,000 pound car that's now in a 1,800 pound car, highly understressed, highly overpowered, and it's just a fantastic package. These things are just unreal to drive. So anyway, let's go ahead and fire up the car. I'll go ahead and do a couple runs because I'm sure that's what everybody wants to see, and make some noise, and then we can kind of take it from there, see if there's any questions. All right, so it's going to get loud in here, so bear with me. Lots of fans in here. Obviously, being in a room with a running car is kind of a dangerous scenario because of carbon monoxide. So we have a really significant airflow set up in this room to turn over the air really quickly. So as we have to kick on all these fans, it's going to get noisy. itself is also extremely noisy, and so for that reason we do wear ear protection in here. Matt can cover his ears, but here I'm gonna put these muffs on Travis. There's one run, and this is kind of a review. To be fair, I did the actual tuning yesterday because I wanted to make this kind of brief for you guys. But I can come over here, I can look at the hysteresis, I can look at data logs. I can see, in this case, it's running beautifully clean, there's no knock, it's hitting my desired air fuel ratios. I've already optimized the timing a little bit, already optimized the airflow, so it's, getting the trims exactly where I want to see them. And then you come over here and see that it's making fantastic power. So this is a crate LS3 E-Rod. In this particular scenario, you're doing just shy of 400 horse at the wheels and about 340 foot-pounds of torque, horse at the wheels. You can see the torque curve on this it's like the top of a table. It's just 300 foot-pounds from 2,000 RPM all the way up to 6,000 RPM. It's just amazing amounts of torque, amazing amounts of thrust. Nice solid increase in power. The factory red line on these is about 6,600. It's continuing to make power all the way up there. Just an unbelievable machine. So yeah, I'll just do one more run just so the guys that are showing up late can see it again, and then we'll shut it down and see if you guys have any questions. right, so that's the fun part, it's making the noise. So, Travis, is there any questions coming through just yet?
Somebody asked how much. I'm assuming they meant how much power and torque you actually made on their gun.
Yeah, this car is extremely consistent. Like I said, it's putting down just shy of 400 horse at the wheels and about 340 foot-pounds. This particular car, we did do a full custom exhaust system because our production exhaust system that we do in the bodied V8s obviously isn't going to fit in this chassis. So we're really limited on space here. So this particular exhaust, I'll pull this off so you can see it, was full custom just to fit this car. And we basically just use the space allowed. So it's a little different than what we're doing on the bodied cars. And the entire system as well, not including the muffler, but everything in front of the muffler, we also have Swain coated as an option. And what that is, there's a company in New York called Swain that does these proprietary ceramic coatings that it's kind of an aluminized ceramic. You can see it on the headers up here. What we like about these is a traditional ceramic coating is about 4 to 6 thousandths thick. These Swain coatings are 20 to 24 thousandths thick, give or take. They're really thick, really hardy. In our opinion, it's the best ceramic coating that we've tried in years of trying lots of different options. So, as an option, that heat mitigation on the V8s is definitely a thing. So anything you can do to try to keep heat coming from up in the floorboards is definitely worth it in the long run. So 6.2 liters of power. All right, what other questions are popping up?
Don't see anything else. Anybody else have any questions for Jeremy?
All right, well,
We have one more.
oh, looks like Matt's got something coming across. What do we got?
How is the balance of the car on the track?
The balance of these is fantastic in general. On the V8, to be honest, I have to ask Keith exactly what the balance of this particular car is. Do you remember, Matt?
60-40.
Oh, it is 60-40?
Yeah.
Okay. So in this particular car, it's 60-40. In the bodied cars, it's usually about 52-48, 53-47, right in that area. When you have 400 horse at the wheels, you don't notice as much because you have power oversteer available on demand. But another thing to remember about these LS3 engines, because they're drive-by-wire, they're actually really easy to drive smooth. You could hop in one of these and daily drive it without any trouble. Overpowering the tires is 100% in control of how you treat your right foot, because the drive-by-wire input is so smooth. It's a non-linear input because it's not connected to a cable, so they can make it so that it's a situation where if you need to drive it conservatively, you can, and it's just not a problem. And on track, these things, in Exocets in general are the most fun and rewarding thing that I've driven on track maybe ever. So it's hard to describe how amazing these things are on track. The whole Colin Chapman idea of weight is the enemy. When you make the thing lighter, it makes a big, big difference in your experience on track.
Do you have an estimate for how much this particular one weighs?
I did put it on the scale and you're right at 1,800.
So Matt says we're right about 1,800 pounds with this particular car. I think a standard Exocet with a naturally aspirated 4 cylinders, maybe about 1,400?
Yeah, I believe so.
So it picks up a few hundred pounds from the V8 and all the additional stuff that we have to do to accommodate it. And triples the power, so. Yeah, it's a gorgeous car. So we're really, really happy with how this came out. All right. So anyway, everybody, thanks a lot for joining in. If you have any more questions, you can always call us, shoot us an email, catch us on social media, and we'll see you guys next week.